Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, from your afternoon break, sponsored by Delta. Thank you for joining us again here at the Smart Building Conference at ISE 2025. Our next speaker is Dan Drogman, who is the CEO of Smart Spaces. And thank you, Dan, for coming up and joining us today. I left you the clicker up there.
Yeah.
Got everybody back in the room for you.
Brilliant. Thanks, Bob. Hi, everyone. Cool. So today I'm going to talk to you about AI in practice and how the world's smartest buildings are becoming even smarter. So obviously, as for many software businesses, LLMs have really accelerated how much we can deliver to our customers using our platform. So we've been optimizing environments for people and planet for 15 years now, which seems crazy. It's our 15th anniversary on, just the 1st of Feb. So be looking out for your invites to our 15th birthday party. And now we're powering over 100 million square feet in over 26 countries. And we've delivered over 15 Smart Score Platinum rated buildings. We have some fantastic clients, and I think the thing that started to change within our business in the last 12 months is that we are now doing as much work for the occupiers, the enterprise businesses that occupy the buildings we've deployed our platform, as we do landlords. And I think that's largely down to what we said earlier today, which is people are moving into the buildings digitally, not just physically. And some fantastic schemes for some of our latest projects. Delighted to have collaborated with some of the MSIs here today to deliver these projects. So every 10 years, we see a shift in the baseline technology adopted by businesses. In the 80s, we had the shift from mainframe computers to PC, and that's me and my brother Tom, back in the 80s when we first started to learn to program. Then we have the birth of the internet, and so I would have been at school through that time, and then the rise of social networks and the adoption of blockchain and cryptocurrencies, and that's actually when me and Tom decided to found the business. And quite funnily enough, we started out with an idea to create a cryptocurrency business called Deskcoin. And we still believe in Deskcoin, so I'll describe how this business works, and one of you can go and make it a great success somewhere. And we're happy to give you some more insight in our drinks that you're all invited to after this. But Deskcoin was a coin minted with Ethereum, which gave you an asset-backed desk in London that you could sell, or buy, but then you would have a yield based on if we leased that desk. So if we sold 100 coins, that would give us the investment money to go and fit out a business centre. We would then lease those desks, and your yield, your altcoin, would come from the desks that we leased. And we thought it was a fantastic way to get investors overseas owning a very, very small piece of real estate in the London market. Smart Spaces was well underway at this point as well, and we took this idea to our client, Norton Rose Fulbright, the law firm, who were pretty advanced in crypto at that time. And they said to me and my brother, it's a fantastic idea, but if one US investor invests in that product and it goes wrong, you could get extradited to the US and you'll lose not just this business, but Smart Spaces as well. So we were scared out of that quite early on. But I'd love for one of you, who's braver than me, to take this on, and we're happy to share the tech that went behind it. So what tangible benefits does AI really offer smart buildings? So we're quite fortunate at Smart Spaces that we've connected our platform to lots of disparate systems. And this is where MSIs are fantastic for our business, is to bring all of these systems into our software. And for years, on stage here and other conferences, I've talked extensively about how great the data we collect from connecting all of these systems and the power that has to provide an unbelievable user experience to the end user. When ChatGPT come alongside the other LLMs, we got really excited about what we could do by integrating all of these integrations directly into AI, and I'll show you some of that in this presentation later today. One thing we think gives us a huge advantage over other smart building platforms is the fact that we have the end user, we have the feedback loop from the end user using our workplace app. So if our AI starts to make changes that's going to make the user uncomfortable, or things that the user disagrees with, or in its early stages we have prompts that allow the user to accept whether they want the automation to do what it's going to do, means that we don't upset that precious person, the person that we're all developing the real estate to serve. And it also trains our AI in order to make better decisions in the future. And that's the most important part. So the global carbon emissions produced by the built environment are set to double by 2050. And obviously we've heard lots about that today. And we believe that the AI embedded in our platform will give us the greatest chance of success to meet these targets. We've already started to do a lot of work around this, and we've even got a couple of the buildings in our portfolio to the point where you can't make any operational changes to lower the carbon impact anymore. It's now down to the fabric, and that's quite scary, where we see that some of our fully glazed buildings around the world would need to be reclad with insulation. So you might be losing those from views from some skyscrapers in the future. So we believe the agentic AI in our platform holds the answer to meeting these targets. We are scraping countless data points. I think one thing we've really suffered with at Smart Spaces is the amount of data that we collect. You know, we started to hire data scientists, but soon realized that we wouldn't be able to price our product at the right price point if we had to add tons of headcount every time we took on a new project. And so AI, and specifically machine learning, has been fantastic at aggregating the data we collect. Some of the sensors are providing data less than every minute, and this is filling up huge databases. We have terabytes and terabytes of data collected, and this makes interrogating that data for dashboards unmanageable. And we've found by deploying machine learning alongside an LLM to provide insight, we've managed to make huge performance gains. And also coming down to things like tagging the data. When we've got a really good MSI involved, we find that there's a tagging, a naming convention, and we can make sense of a physical object to a digital object in our database and the relation to a composite object that we create in code. What we're finding when on a lot of projects that don't have an MSI is that it's a nightmare. We are losing weeks and weeks tagging and labeling assets and looking at drawings and trying to understand the context of what our system's ingesting. Smart automations. So I think a lot of the themes today were that it's great to collect data, but you need to actually do something with the data, and that's where we think the smart automations. And we've had automations in our platform since day one, but these have been actions that you write in our platform. So we have a SaaS platform, you log in, and you can create these automations. We're now at the point where our platform can create automations itself, and this is the key to releasing meeting rooms when people don't show up. An interesting thing there, where the app's a great feedback loop, is it can prompt to keep the meeting in case you've overrun. And actually, we used to cancel the meetings 5 minutes in, but this meant we kept cancelling the meeting based on the people still in the room from the previous meeting, and now we're sampling 15 minutes. But we've automated this now, so it adjusts, and so no two clients have the same cancellation procedure. And then the next thing is, when we're looking at the buildings we're working with and we're trying to project whether they're going to meet their targets in the future, we've been able to use machine learning to be able to predict the performance of the building in the future. And this has been really handy where buildings in our portfolio are reliant on energy for suppliers like CityGen, which are still fossil fuel powered. And so we can find ways to combat that in the future and have a path to meet the net zero targets. And some of the buildings we're working with at present are currently beating the Green Building Council's current targets.
At Smart Spaces, we're building the future of AI-integrated smart buildings. Sensors in our buildings collect data that AI can quickly analyze. By finding patterns and anomalies, it predicts when systems require maintenance. Proactively repairing this equipment before it breaks reduces costs and prevents downtime, taking away the stress of frustrated tenants, keeping them happy and comfortable. For more information on the future of smart buildings, visit smartspaces.app.
So our agentic layer goes just beyond the smart elements that relate to ESG or HVAC performance, and also provide an agent to make your life easier. So we've been doing a lot of work to interface with Alexa, interface with Siri, in order for you to be able to make changes on our platform using your native AI. And I think when Satya Nadella said that SaaS would be dead because of AI and agentic AI, I believe that's, yeah, the interface could be dead in the future. Like a lot of people feel that Smart Spaces is trying to force an app down someone's throat. We're like, right, you've got to use an app to get into your building, you've got to use an app to do this, and that's not the case. Our platform is a cloud platform. All of the data sources we connect to the cloud are in our cloud operating system. And it doesn't matter what the interface is. It could be your AirPods, it can be your Alexa, it could be Siri, it can be our smart agent. And that's where we see the future. We see our technology sitting more in the background over time, but making your life easier. And so one of the key things we've seen is tailoring user experience. Now, using AI, the rules that we have in our monitors and actions are far more dynamic and can truly personalize an environment. And we've seen the software developers that we employ love this, where their lighting settings will change based on their badge, which is stored in their Apple Wallet. It will also cancel meetings if they are not within the building and won't be able to make that meeting based on their badge in, badge out experience. And there's a couple of smart building consultants here where we're deploying projects at their HQ, which uses Bluetooth to do the same thing. And we've now got the Bluetooth accuracy on tracking you around a building using our Smart Spaces app, really, really accurate and reliable. And I feel that we're going to see a lot more personalization driven through that part of our platform. It also comes down to understanding how well used an amenity is. And I'm not sure on the rules globally, but in London, you have to hold back 20% of your net lettable office space for cycling, and end-of-trip facilities. And this is a huge amount of space. In one of our biggest buildings, it's 1,700 bike spaces, which was set to double to 2,400. And we've used the data where we track the bikes using RFID tags, and the client didn't have a budget to flood the whole building with gateways. So we come up with a predictive machine learning algorithm that calculates the next best guess of where their bike is located in the ACP. And it's been exceptionally accurate at understanding where your bike is, but also provide data for new developments, because the City of London and Planning Committee will listen to you if you have hard-based data. And this has allowed us on some of the new schemes we're working on to reduce that 20% down towards 10%. And that 10% you've got back can be used for a gym, for another amenity that can help attract people to your building. And this is actually the, I don't think that video, yeah, it's funny, that video just doesn't want to play on its own, but it's okay. We tried testing it before this and it was playing up. But yeah, so back into the UI of the app, you get locations. So you can see my bike's located in the pink zone there. And you also get the nice parking analytics that you get, say at Westfield, where you can see how many spaces are in each zone. This also allows the staff at 22 Bishopsgate to scan a bike to understand whose bike that is. So and also understand if someone's using the cycle facility as their garage, which a lot of people in London do. They will just, because they've got an apartment in central London, they think, well, I'll store my racing bike, my trial bike, mountain bike at the office. At least they know and can understand that. So if they run out of spaces, they can address that. And I'm very proud to announce we recently won the contract to retrofit the Shard, and the Shard has the complete opposite problem, where it was developed before the 20% rule came in, and it has nowhere near enough spaces for cyclists. So this system works just the same to ensure that it's being used fairly. We also use AI to make our platform better in terms of the administration. And so when we landed some huge contracts, thanks to some of the great customers we have in the room today, we found, again, just like employing data scientists, we had tons of graduates processing floor plans. And just to frustrate us even more, the client would change the plans the moment we loaded it into the software, and we'd have to start again and manually realign all the drag and drop tick boxes, checking what assets are located on the desk. And so over time, we developed a machine vision algorithm which processes the plans and the changes to plans. And now this is a self-service tool where you can change your floor plans as much as you want. You can align what assets are available. And we also provide the ability to overlay the plans with the current environmental value. So you can see how noisy it is, what temperature it is, what temperature lighting you have as well. And that's quite interesting that we've even placed 2 zones where we have the lighting, a warmer shade in one area and a cooler shade, and we actually have the temperature set point just different by 1 degree. And we've found that actually we've had more females go to the warm zone and blokes go to the cool zone, which is quite interesting from our analytics. And so now we're going to come on to the back end of our system, where we collect the data from all the assets, and we present that in a single dashboard, and then we link the LLM to take control of the platform. And the LLM is integrated not only into the data set, but it has full control of smart spaces. So again, albeit it's positioned in our dashboard, it actually will show that it will control this from another source. It doesn't need to be in our dashboard, but today's demo is in our dashboard. It's interesting, actually, talking about all the things we integrate at the moment. The average lift weight now, there's so many APIs available that we can surface this data, and clients can then choose whether they want to keep this on the home page or whether they want to move that off into another section. And I think what's really powerful is the fact that now we can help consultants consult on what products to put into the building. We've got the performance data of Daikin versus Mitsubishi then Kony versus Otis. We can see the different dwell times. We can see how long it takes to reach set point. We can see how many faults are available. We have an interface into all of these systems and the data. So I think we might in the future become like the Which guide for buying building systems. We already know who our favourite occupancy sensors are, for instance. So I have to click this 3 times. What I did, I thought I'd show that one of the best things we love about LLMs is the fact that it does all your multilingual translations for you. And so we put the Spanish version on there on the left. I mean, those that can speak Spanish are probably going to come over to me and say this has offended them because we haven't sense checked it. But what we've done is it's fully integrated, so we don't have to have this browser open. We can do this directly from Siri, but we've kept the browser open to show you what it's doing in the background. We've gone for Smart Bot for Europe and Smart Agent, but I think we might, after all the mentions of agentic AI today, we might go with Smart Agent. I'll be interested to get your feedback when we have some drinks after this. One of the most common requests that we've had through the LLM is booking a desk when a particular colleague books it. And also, quite cheekily, we've had people get a notification when the bookings become available because they want to reserve the corner desk when no one can see their screen. And they've got natural light or a nice view through the window. We also use this link to our support tickets. So this can answer queries around at the building support. And this is where a lot of the feedback loop that I mentioned in the presentation comes from. So if we make a set point change and we get a complaint, our system can recognize that and address it. And I promised Bob today, for once ever, I'll actually finish on time. And I've got it down to 30 seconds. So thank you very much.